So we're just gathering visitors.
Hello, everyone. Look how it all goes together.
Yeah, I set out an open one with all the parts so you could discuss that the only tool you need is a screwdriver.
Nice.
And the only extra parts you might need are a pair of C-clamps. Are those still on the table?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Are they? I guess you could screw it down to the table, but we're using
It'd be
C-clamps.
rather permanent that way.
Okay, let us begin.
All right. Good morning from Glass Crafters, everybody. We're here to share. We just got in a new model of cane bender. So here is the assembled model here on the table, which I've gotten ready to demonstrate for you. The new model has 3 separate grooves. The bottom one is for U-cane. The middle one is for, I believe, flat H, and the top groove is to form the H shape. So the difference is that some of them, the bottom one has no toothed groove in here, allowing the border cane to be recessed and not get tooth marks on its back. And the other ones have this toothed wheel in them to give a better grip on the inside of H cane.
Yep,
So
the
that's
top one's
handy.
for round H and the middle one's for flat H. That's all. And they're made for Cascade brand zincs, but we have found that other brands work well in it as well.
All right. So when you first get it out of the box, for shipping, it comes in multiple pieces. However, it's really, really easy to put together. Here's the core assembly. You have your wheels. You have what's going to become one of your handles, and your other handle's going to attach up here on the top. So all you need is a screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver. So first part is we're going to assemble our small handle here, and all we need for that is one of these 2 handle bits and a nut. And we're going to put that through there. I'm just double checking. Getting my nut here on the end, screwed in. And then we're going to put it through here, which is threaded. I'm going to get that screwed in. There we go. We have a handle. The other one fits here on top. We line up our screw holes, and it's going to use the 2 small screws that came with the cane bender. And I'm just twisting it in just a little to get it set, so everything's lined up. And I've got this one right here. And then tighten them down with my screwdriver.
So what do these 2 handles do?
The first handle, which actually this is reversed because this would be protruding off the edge of the table towards me. When we rotate it, it moves this wheel forward and backward. So as we rotate it one way, it is widening or shortening the gap. I don't know if you can see it moving, so it moves just a little.
Yeah, I see it getting wider between the
here.
wheels. Mm-hmm.
So we get our piece of cane set in here in the grooves, and then we rotate the other way, and it tightens it up. Because in order to roll your cane, you are bending it so you're getting just the right curvature in here. And then the top handle takes this grooved center wheel and rotates it around, pulling the cane through and forcing it into a curve. Now you don't curve it all at once because it will kink. Cane likes to be bent a little bit at a time, so you'll run it through and kink it just a little. You'll tighten your wheel a little further and run it back through the other way. And you'll do that until you achieve the curve you need to reach the size that you need to fit your piece. And we're going to demonstrate that on our assembled one right here on the side of the table.
Oh, I see. So you can make things like this.
Yes. And that is how, if you've ever wondered, you use zinc to frame a circular piece. Because it's easy to cut it and miter the corners for a square. It is not exactly bendable by hand into anything pretty for a circle or oval piece. So this is the tool that you'll need to do that sort of thing.
So the box isn't very pretty. It just says Type A on it.
We are selling these cane benders for $224.99. This
Okay.
tool will last pretty much indefinitely as it is solidly made of steel.
So what about that second handle you haven't assembled yet? Where does that go?
The second handle,
A little knob's just like the other one.
just like the other one. So it's going to go through there, and that will go on the end. And this is grooved, so it's going to go and be screwed into this handle here.
Okay, so that's the brand new one. And this is the one that we've got in the shop that you've been practicing with.
Yes. So now, in order to stabilize this, you have to attach it to your table. You could screw it in, as this does have screw holes, and its little flanges on the side.
Oh yeah, I see.
However, that's going to make the attachment to your table pretty permanent, and that may be inconvenient if you have a small amount of workspace.
Okay.
So what we like to do here in the shop is we take some C-clamps and we put it under the edge of the table and over onto the flange and just tighten it up.
Yep.
And we loosen it when we need to remove this and store it away.
All right, magic time.
All right, so I'm going to demonstrate this from the beginning, so let me take it out of here for you. I am extending my front wheel out, and here is just a piece of 1/4 inch U zinc. So it is going to go down into the bottom channel. I can extend this out a little further to make it easier. And the bottom slot has no ridge teeth. The opening is going to face outward into this wheel. And it'll just slot nicely, neatly into those ridges there. Then I'm going to tighten it up. And it's going to fit right into the matching groove with the teeth on the opposite wheel. Now I'm going to tighten until it reaches that it's tight around the piece, and then we can give it a little extra turn so that if I'm looking from above, we can see that it has just started to curve a little bit. And then I'm going to guide it with one hand, and I'm going to slowly rotate with the other. It's smooth as butter. I'm going to feed it through. And look at that. As it goes, it is acquiring a gentle curve. Now obviously, unless I'm trying to put together a 30-inch wide circular panel, this is a little bit too generous of a curve. So all I'm going to do is give this another crank around, about probably half a turn, and I'm going to rotate the other way and rotate it back. And as you can see, it is tightening my curve another notch.
So you need a big table space for this.
Yes, you need a decent sized bench table space for this. Otherwise, this zinc as it rolls through is going to start knocking into everything on the table. And then another half turn and go back. You can probably even take it a turn at a time, but what's going to happen is if you pinch it too tightly on any one turn, one, you're not going to know just how much you've tightened your circle. This full turn will have shrunk my circle by quite a lot, as you can see as it's tightening here. It's shrunk my circle quite a bit.
So what size circle are you trying to make?
I'm hoping for a 10-inch circle, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to release this, take it out, and you're always going to have the ends that didn't quite go through there are going to be straight. So you can bend zinc just a little bit by hand, so we're going to look for our curves to match up because we're going to saw off our straight pieces. Now I've got a really perfect circle here, so I just want to make sure that it's going to encompass my 10-inch piece. Nope, not quite. That's about a 13-inch and a bit. 10-inch is actually pretty small, so
back in the...
back into the bender it goes.
Okay.
And we're going to just feed it down into the channel again, bottom channel. I've got to tighten this up a good bit more apparently. I feel it getting tight, tighten it just a bit more. And then you may have to guide it by hand, push a little bit as you go as things get tighter. So I'm going to pull it back because it seems like it's a little loose.
Let's get those other tools out of your way there on the table. Clear off the... There you go.
And we're going to tighten it just a little more because it's not gripping it. And then we're going to feed it through again. The danger, other than kinking the zinc, if you tighten it too much, it's going to bend these flanges out of shape or twist it. And then you'll be hard pressed trying to straighten that or just looking for another piece of zinc.
Can you use this for brass and copper came as well?
Yes, absolutely. You can use this for any soft metal. There's no point to using it with lead. It would bend far too easily with lead, and lead you can really just bend around your piece by your own hands. But with any soft metal other than lead, yes. Okay, that shortened my circle. I can leave it in right here, and I can just see if I'm getting closer to my goal. Nope, I shortened it by like another inch, but I've got a little ways to go. So I'm going to tighten my circle again. Another bit of a turn. I think we're making some progress there. That looks like a much shorter curve.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully we didn't make too much progress. If we did, you can, like I showed, you can bend zinc just the littlest bit by hand. You can pull it out maybe half an inch, squeeze it in maybe half an inch. That's why you don't want to do too much at a time because you may overshoot your goal. Okay, now I'm going to see if we're there. We got a really nice looking circle here. And look, we have 10 inches. Perfect.
Wow, good job.
So I'm going to get this back out of here, release it, line that way out so it's easy to get out. And then, were I ready to attach this to my piece, I would mark somewhere around my circle, and I would then take my hand saw, my miter saw, and I would go ahead and cut it right on the line at the exact same spot so that when I remove this excess, they will line up nice and cleanly, and I'll have my 10-inch circle frame.
Okay, so I'd just like to add that if you've already constructed your 10-inch circle panel, you will not be able to bend this zinc border came around it in one whole circle. You're going to have to cut it a second time to make two half circles. So cutting here and here perhaps, or you could offset those a little bit where they line up with lead lines on your panel in order to assemble it around your completed panel. The other option, of course, is build your panel inside the zinc circle. Make the border first, and then build the panel inside of it.
Yes, you could slot in things as you go and work out from there. Because unfortunately, as George just mentioned, zinc bends just a little, but it's really not going to bend enough for you to open it up and wrap it back around your piece.
To get it around a finished piece. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's a trick that only lead does. Zinc needs to be done in segments. All right. And just in case you were wondering, this will work with many sizes of framing as well. That was 1/4 inch. This is, I think, 1/2 inch. Pretty sure this is 1/2 inch.
Looks like.
So I'm going to put my 1/2 inch same slot, even though it's larger. It's still U-came, so it's going to go in the bottom slot. And I'm going to show briefly how that works.
Well, it's border came because it's got that extra cavity in it. It's not actually a U. Only the 1/8 inch zinc is really a U. The others are called border came.
Because it has this filler space inside.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with a heavier cane like this, because there's more chance of crushing it, I'm going to be even more gentle. So I'm just going to tighten it just enough that I can see it just starting to curve in here. So I can see I'm just starting to get a curve. I'm not going to try to do it all at once. Last thing I want to do is put a big old kink right in the middle of my zinc. And now since this is heavier, it's turning harder. You're going to have to put a little more oomph into your turning. And I am pulling it in with my other hand and feeding it through. Now, it may go without saying, but it's worth mentioning, heavier zinc, aside from overwhelming a smaller design, isn't really going to bend quite as small. I'm not going to get a 10-inch circle out of this 1/2 inch zinc because if zinc is pulled too much, this inner edge here is going to kink. And that's not very pretty for your design after all the hard work you put into your glass. So in general, smaller designs, smaller zinc, and larger designs deserve a heavier frame. So I curved it a little, and I'm going to curve it just a little more.
Okay, so let's talk about the math. Everybody remembers pi. The number 3.14 is the relationship between the circumference of a circle and the diameter of a circle. So if you have a 20-inch panel, how much border came do you need to build your zinc framing? You need 3.14 times 20 inches. So something a little more than 60 inches worth of zinc would be required, which you could do in 2 halves. You could do 2 30-inch semicircles or 31-inch semicircles and then trim them. Or you could try to do it all in one big circle and then cut it the way we talked about earlier with your 10-inch circle. So that's how pi is going to get used in real life.
All right, now, art is subjective, but I don't think that I personally would go much tighter than this for 1/2 inch zinc because you can see,
So what size is that?
let's see. This is about an 18-inch circle. So I would say that if you have a piece that's much smaller than 18 inches, you probably should use a little bit lighter piece of zinc, just because as we bend this further and further, you'll notice that it is starting to kink. It's starting to distort and bulge from the pressure of being curved.
So still, for an 18-inch circle, you would need 2 of our 48-inch long pieces of zinc. Bend both of them to the 18 inches and then cut your excess off to make your 18-inch circle.
Make your two pieces of curved that are going to have some little leftover opening, line them up nice and neatly, and make your marks for where to cut and rejoin them.
Terrific. Thank you, Jesse.
Very well.
Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.